Lois, do you remember any stories about Audrey?
He had to go get ready to go to work. He had to pick his son up.
I really didn't know Audrey that well. She moved from home and went over to D.C.
It was Jean standing there.
Just, the summers before she graduated from high school. And she had a babysitter. I guess they'd call him an au pair or somebody, but she was the girl that took care of the children here at that company.
I could tell that was Margaret's right away.
The biggest story I can remember of Audrey, when I was about the 5th grade, I guess,
it's just the height.
she got me in trouble.
It's different.
Much trouble. We were not supposed to wear fingernail polish to school. And she decorated my fingers with the palest, pinkest fingernail polish that's been created.
Well, there was.
And I was showing everybody the next day in school. And I spent the next 4 or 5 days in school. I must not wear fingernail polish to school. I must not wear fingernail polish to school. I always blamed her for that. And one time she made me, I don't know what car it was.
You probably asked her to do your fingernails. Who do you think really was the instigator in this?
I probably asked her.
You probably begged her and wouldn't leave her alone. Finally she paints your nails and then you get in trouble. And you've been blaming her ever since. I gotta stand up for my mom.
That's right.
That's all.
But when we lived at the beach, your mom had a new car. I don't know, it was a black car. It's the only thing I can remember. We lived about 10 blocks from Mom. And kids and I had been on the beach. I don't know what it was.
No, it was a Chevrolet. He would never own it for it.
And I finally did decide which one it was.
No, it was
He's talking about my dad's car.
it was Herb's car. Audrey's car.
Oh, okay.
If it was the car that I remember, it was a black car.
Shiny black light. She was so
I
proud of it.
down to
Well, she'd come down,
5 minutes away from their house.
and we had been on the beach, and the kids stayed at the beach and walked down home. Well, I walked on up to Mother's,
and I'll come down there and I'll drop her off.
and got there, and Audrey was there, and she said, well, come on, I'll take you home. And she says, but you've got to wash your feet first. Well, I was all sandy from being on the beach. And she told me, she looked at my feet and
She was so proud of the car, she wouldn't let you back in the car.
yeah, she wouldn't let me in the car to take me home this 8 or 9, 10 blocks that we lived apart from Mother until I'd wash my feet to get in the car. And I was ready to tell her, well, I don't need to ride home in your car. I can walk. I do it all the time.
In fact, I recall it created a bit of an argument.
Oh, it did, very much so.
I think I heard that story before.
I mean, that was... You don't want to wash my feet. I had shoes on. Because I didn't go barefooted.
I always liked the story where Audrey beat me with the broom.
What did Audrey do with the broom again?
She beat him.
She spanked me with it and busted a brand new handle. Brand new broom.
Why was she spanking?
She hit harder.
She was in charge of me, I guess. So she spanked me.
You don't even know what she did. You just remember the broken broom.
Right.
And did she get in trouble for breaking the broom?
No, I got in trouble.
Oh, that's not
broke the broom.
It was your bottom.
Broke your butt too on that. But one of the things I remember about Audrey, Marilyn was the baby, and they lived in a little apartment over there near Alexandria, someplace or another. And
Duplex house.
yeah, no, it wasn't a duplex. It was an apartment.
Well, we lived in a duplex first, but then we moved into an apartment for a while.
Oh, okay.
No, you weren't there. It was just Marilyn who was a baby.
Okay, then may have been an apartment before
Yeah,
the
it
duplex.
was.
Okay. Well, what do you remember? I'll quit interrupting.
Herb came home from work, and she was in the kitchen doing something. And she had cooked this big bowl of chocolate Jell-O pudding. And this was in the days before instant pudding. And he did something. And she turned around and flung the bowl of chocolate pudding at him. All over the walls. All over everywhere.
And then hardened like a rock, if I remember correctly.
Probably.
Not that I was there, but I remember the story she told me on other occasions.
Audrey also had a 2-piece bathing suit. We did have them back then, honest.
Actually, now that you mention it, I've seen a picture of her posing
And
in two-piece.
it
Not that it's
laced
like
up
today's two pieces,
on
but
the sides. And we were down at Ocean Beach or somewhere down in there, and it was the weekend before John was married. I had been to the beach, not that beach, but another beach, all day Saturday with the church group. I was sunburned but fairly well. They were at Mother's that night, and they both said, come on, go to the beach with us. I said, okay. So I went, and here she was with this laced-up bikini-looking thing out there. And your father went and undid the laces. Not only undid them, took them out while she was in the water.
Well, that's Dad.
The year that Marilyn was probably just past a year old, they took the Christmas tree. She wouldn't leave the Christmas tree alone. And she screamed bloody murder when she was in the playpen. So they took her out of the playpen, put her in the room, put the tree in the playpen, and tied it to the overhead water pipes because it was a basement apartment. And if the tree would be in the way, they'd move it down here or move it over there or somewhere else.
Well, she left and went to the high school, but before that, she was probably often in charge of you guys and disciplinarian and all that stuff.
Everybody.
Well, she worked in the dime
So you
store.
really know what I went through.
Well, when we lived on the farm,
Years later.
I don't know which one it was, whether it was Larry or Bobby, but they were, you could run like this through the house. And Audrey got upset with him, and I don't know what happened because I was not in on it, but I do know that she took a salt shaker off the table and threw it at one of them, and it hit the door so hard it broke a hole in the door.
That is pretty odd.
I don't know what it was about her, but she threw things. When she got mad at somebody, she threw things.
She got over that.
But we were sort of glad when she left home.
Oh, is that right? Mean old sister finally left, huh?
She was bossy.
Well, she didn't have to boss you around. You were an in-law.
I suppose maybe that has something to do with it.
What are your recollections of her?
That she was very kind and very, very sweet lady, and she always, when Mary was in Vietnam, she was there for me. She'd call me and talk with me, and she was just, I just thought she was real special. So did Larry. He really liked Audrey.
You want to cheer?
Temperament, the whole 9 yards. Those two, it was funny because John and I got along well together. Larry and I never really got along that well together because he didn't want to be dirty. Somebody gave Mother for him to the point we called him the deacon.
Yeah.
We called him the Baptist deacon first, and finally his nickname became Deacon. And he
How old was he then? You're talking about teenage year?
No, he was
Before
a little
that?
boy. Yeah, we're still in the farm. And he didn't want to get on his hands and knees and play cars in the dirt with the rest of us. I didn't know I was a girl for a long time because I had brothers on both sides of me. My two sisters were older. I guess now they call it a role model. I didn't have anybody to role model a girl after. And it was just different. The boys were all different. Of course, I was gone from home by the time Gene was little when I got married and left home. Larry was an obnoxious teenager when I left home. He was 16 and thought he knew everything in the world.
Oh, I think he did.
He probably did after a while.
You knew everything in the world when you're 16, but as you get older, your parents run a little bit, see?
And Bobby
parents,
didn't.
by the time you get about 25, you realize your parents have learned right much about it.
Bobby
Right,
didn't
Bobby?
give a darn.
I know, he's so laid back and
He just absolutely
really is.
did not give a darn about anything.
Still, I would.
Yeah. Do you remember when your mother sent you upstairs? You were going at the beach, and you were going to take her to Fredericksburg, and she said you were not going to Fredericksburg with you holding your pants like that. And you went upstairs and took a bandana handkerchief and stuffed it in his rear pocket and pulled it out the hole so it covered the hole behind it. And I said, I'm ready to go.
Granddad going somewhere.
What's that?
Must have been a trip with Granddad going somewhere.
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, he was taking Mother to Fredericksburg. It was after Dad's death.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because Granddad wouldn't let you go anywhere unless you're dressed right. He wouldn't take you
I don't
to
remember
Fredericksburg.
that.
I do.
Dressed.
Bob, do you remember any story about Larry when you were kids?